On this episode, we talk about compliance, everyone's favorite part of the placement process, with Cassie Kwolfert from our compliance department. Atlas All Access starts now. Obviously, I'm kidding. Everyone loves compliance.
Well,
Okay.
we would love to think that.
Okay, sure. But it's a very important part of the whole process. So, Cassie, thank you first off for being with us and talking about this today. Because I know it's one of those things that comes up a lot, right?
Yep.
And you've done this for how many years now?
With Atlas for 2.5.
There you go. So let's talk through the role of the compliance person from the time of the placement to at the time you get the placement. How's that? So nurse gets the call. Hey, you got the offer. Yay, I accept. Here, I'm going to sign on the dotted line. Go.
Okay, so once they sign on the dotted line, the recruiter then has to get together their profile, which would be their skills checklist, 2 references, and their resume.
Everything they sent to the hospital already.
Yep.
Okay.
And then when it gets to compliance, we go a step further and we make sure there's no gaps of employment, 30 days or greater. And then, so we need that full profile with no gaps. We need a current zip code for any health requirements that are going to need to be set up, such as like the drug screen. That's standard for every placement.
So current, not necessarily where they live right now, wherever their perm address is, it's wherever they are at that point.
Correct.
Okay.
And that may vary depending on how far out we get a placement, because typically most drug screens need to be done within 30 days.
Sure.
So if we get it 60 days out, then yeah, their zip code could change in the next 30 days.
Understood.
So once we get that email with everything we need, we send out the welcome email to the nurse, which includes all the fun stuff that they have to turn in.
So that's like a list of minimum requirements.
Correct. So what we do is we combine all of Atlas's requirements with the facility's requirements, and then it's just one big checklist.
So here's what's important with a healthcare traveler in this scenario. It's not just our requirements. It's not just what we tell Joint Commission we're doing. The hospital has requirements too.
Correct.
So ahead of time, the hospital will send us those requirements. So then you compile that all into one and send that out.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's a misnomer sometimes. I think people don't understand that. So
I would agree.
They're like, oh my gosh, when they get the list that's this long, right? Which stinks. I get it. Right?
Yes.
But the compliance the compliance packet that we send to a hospital is just as important and just as vital as when we send that profile off in the very beginning, right?
Right.
Only to that person on the compliance side who probably is the one that passes that information off to the hiring manager or whoever that is in the first place.
Yeah.
Your likelihood of getting extended based on a clean 100% compliance file goes up exponentially.
Drastically.
Right?
Yep.
If it's done and it's clean and it looks good and it's on time. So let's talk about that. So after that is sent, after you send that email out to the time that they get the first day instructions and they're heading off to their first day, what is your role? How are you keeping up with them through that process?
Honestly, it varies from nurse to nurse on are they taking a new assignment with Atlas, but they've been with us before? Are they a brand new traveler to Atlas? There's a lot more communication with the nurses who are new to Atlas because they have everything that they have to turn in. Whereas a return traveler just taking a new assignment, we have most of that already on file. So it's really just here's what we need: a new drug screen. This facility requires a TB within 30 days. We'll update that. And then that's pretty much it until first day instructions. But the other nurses, every couple days, hey, here's a new list. Where are we at? What can I help you with?
So as they continue to send stuff into you, you mark it off or whatever, and then you keep them updated through the process.
Yep.
So needless to say, like, we love extensions as much as the next company, right? I mean, that's a whole lot less work for us. It's a whole lot less work for the nurse.
Yep.
Healthcare traveler, right?
Correct.
And then it's a whole lot less work for compliance as well. So I think and this is definitely not a pitch for us whatsoever, but if compliance just makes you want to tear your hair out, the easy answer is stick with one company.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And all you'll have to do then is just update that information as it comes due year over year or whatever it is.
Correct.
So, or just stay with us.
Yeah, just stay with Alice.
I don't ever want to do that, but at the same time, it just seems like if you switch the volume of paperwork that you would have to go through from the prophecy exams that came up in a couple weeks ago when we talked through some Q&A. Prophecy exams not moving from one company to the other, even though it's done in prophecy.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
So, okay. So last questions. Not everything always goes that smoothly, right?
Correct.
So talk through some of the pitfalls and how do you avoid them? Like, is there anything that you've seen that you can put your finger on that you can say, if you do this now, you don't have to worry about it 3 days before you start or whatever?
It all boils down to the nurse and their time management. Do they get it all done right away to be done with everything, or does it trickle? I mean, really the only pitfall is waiting till the last minute to turn everything in. Then we have to look at the forms. Okay, maybe the facility isn't going to accept this because of this, and now we've got to get them back into a clinic. So the sooner they can send over health documents, the smoother the process will go, because these facilities, especially with like measles becoming prevalent again, a lot of facilities aren't accepting vaccines. They want titers. If these titers come back negative, now they want 2 boosters instead of 1. So it's those health docs are so important to get in.
We're in August already. We are right around the corner from everybody's favorite time of year,
flu season.
Flu season.
Yep.
Yes. And so and I know when it starts, it's hard because maybe the CVS or the Walgreens or wherever doesn't always have the vaccine, but then the hospitals are asking for it already. The sooner you get that done.
Yep. Next month.
Yeah.
End of next month is when we'll start hammering down on getting those in.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's
quick.
Coming. Yes. So, Cassie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here. See, they're nice people.
We are.
They really are. I think sometimes they get a bad rap because they're the ones on the fence for us, making sure that when Joint Commission comes and they look through those files, we're 100%. When a hospital or a VMS or an MSP looks at our compliance files, they say, I want an Atlas nurse next time because this compliance file is immaculate. That's why we put them on the fence. That's why we ask them to do the things that they do. So they really are nice people.
And just know, when we're asking you for things, we do really need it. We're not just making things up. So just bear with us as we try and get those specific things that we know you guys don't necessarily always like to give us.
It's a push and pull.
It
right?
is.
It constant. It's always been like this. So
it always will be.
And it always will be. So, Cassie, thank you so much.
Thank
I appreciate it. So, all right. We'll see you next week.